Hey, welcome to the Dray Way. I'm glad you're here. We got a pretty good show today. Something a little different for you. I hope you stick around for it. My name's Drayton. I'm your host. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. There's a new Dray Way each and every day, and I'd love for you to hang around. So, without much more, how about we get started? Let's go! Hey, welcome to the Dray Way. Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that speech, that little speech of Donald Trump's yesterday, where he said, hey, maybe kids won't be able to have 30 dolls, but maybe they should just live with a couple. They don't need 30. They can just live with fewer toys. He actually said that. And maybe things will get a little more expensive. Yeah, maybe. It was just the words of a president that was basically saying, yeah, live with it. I don't care. Live with it. I don't care. And the most frustrating thing is this man has been a nasty individual, a horrible person for decades. And the problem that I have is that we didn't elect this guy one time. We thought it would be a good idea to elect this guy president twice. And it has me thinking about everything. And when I mean everything, it has me thinking about what does that say about us as a country? That we would not elect somebody highly educated, a doctor, has a doctorate in this, a doctorate in that, from Harvard, from Yale, or anything. No, we took a guy that speaks on a 5th grade or 4th grade level. Yeah, a guy that doesn't think anything about disparaging someone just because he's in a position of power. That is the sign of the weakest person on the planet. When you have the upper hand and you use it to disparage other people, that is the epitome of weakness. And I just sit here, and day after day after day, I do this show. And I just want to do what I'm doing right now and just look into the camera and be like, what are we doing? Why did we put someone so stupid in the White House again? And he encircles himself with nasty people. Terrible people that just want to do harm to other people. Oh yeah, I'm going to deport 20 million people and whatever the president says is law. He just surrounds himself with the strangest people that you wouldn't invite in your home. You wouldn't would you let Marjorie Taylor Greene in your house? Really? But I could just go on and on. All the people. Pete Hegseth? Would you invite him to a party where alcohol is served? I don't think so. But I could just go down the list, and they're just one awful person after another. And we treat this like it's like it's somehow normal. And there's just nothing normal about it. And we have to sit here and suffer through this until next year when the House elections are going on, and we're going to take back the House because everybody after 100 days is like, this is crazy. And I warned everybody. I on this show, I said, and I really thought Harris was going to win because I never thought in my life that this country would be crazy enough to put Donald Trump, who burned down the economy last time, who last time said, oh, this pandemic, it's just a few people sick, it's going to go away. And just said one dumb thing after another, after another, after another. And we voted him in anyway. And that's why I've been saying, this is it. For me, I can look at you right now and say, this is it for me. I will never live through another Republican president here. if another Republican president wins the White House, I'm out of here. I'm gone. And I'm gone because I just can't take it anymore. I can't take watching America do nothing. You know, I'm growing up as a kid in the 60s and 70s and watching the rockets and going to the moon. You know, did you ever think we would be no further along than we were back then in space? You know, 50, 60 years later, we're nowhere further. In fact, we're behind. We can't go to the moon today. So America's not going forward, at least not consistently. I've said this before. Under Bill Clinton, do you remember Bill Clinton? Do you remember what the 90s were like? Do you remember how good everybody had it and how the economy was booming and jobs were booming? And I mean, we even balanced the budget. We actually had a surplus. And instead of voting to continue that, here comes George Bush, a Republican. Why? We just had it so amazing. Here comes a Republican to burn it all to the ground. So what do? We nominate Obama to come clean it up, to come pull us out of the hole. And that's what happens for 8 years and brings things back. And what do? Do we hand it off to Hillary? No. We put it back in the hands of a Republican again. And a nasty man at that, a horrible, nasty man that fails at everything. We thought that would be a good idea. And we vote him in, and we have a pandemic. He has no idea what to do. 1 million people die, and the country shuts down, and millions of people lose jobs. And an old man Biden comes in and fixes it all, gets us back doing well, and do we hand that off to his vice president? No. We decide to bring back the guy that did a really bad job the first time. Yeah, we bring him back so that they can burn it all to the ground again. Do you see how this is just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat? How is the country supposed to move forward when we keep doing this stupid stuff? And I'm sorry, you know, I keep doing this show, and sometimes I want to stop in the middle of the show, just like now, and just be like, what are we doing? This is awful. Republicans are awful. They're terrible. Sorry, but they are. They shouldn't be in charge of anything. Why are we putting them in charge of anything? Why? When again and again and again, it's just nothing but bad results. You know, and we see it. I mean, there's how many red states are there that have been red for decades? Arkansas, Alabama, Mississippi, West Virginia. Awful, terrible. Why? Because they've been under Republican governors for decades. Things should be great. But they're horrible. They're horrible because Republicans can't run anything and should never be allowed to run anything. Let me know what you think. Welcome to the Dray Way. Don't go anywhere. We got more Dray Way to come. I think we're going to have a complete car crash in pricing because it's just gotten out of hand. It got out of hand with COVID and people having COVID money and stuff like that, and car dealerships thinking that they could overcharge on cars, and it's just gotten completely out of hand. I have no interest in buying a $100,000 car. I have no interest in buying a $75,000 car. I just want to get from point A to point B with air conditioning and a radio. That's it. It's that basic. It's that simple. And I don't think I need to spend $75,000, which is more than my first house. I don't think I have to spend that much just to get a car that has AC and a radio. You know? And I think auto manufacturers need to go back and start looking at affordability, because salaries are not matching housing prices, HOA prices, insurance prices, automobile prices. All this stuff keeps going up by huge percentages, but wages aren't going up like that. So how on earth are people supposed to ultimately afford these things? Because so many people are one sickness away from losing everything. One sickness. And I see all these cars. You go to these dealerships. Do you know that they still have 2022s, 2023s in some of these lots? Cars that are brand new that are 2, 3, 4 years old. What? What are we doing? How come nobody has sat down and said, you know what we should do? We should probably start putting out an economical truck that we can put out for $25,000, $30,000 that people can actually afford, that has a reliable engine, air conditioning, and a radio. Why can't we do that? Is it just too tough? Is it just too hard to do? It's because people would buy that like crazy. People would, those would sell like this. But it seems all the car dealerships want to do is build these $75,000, $100,000 vehicles and try to sell them. And now, if you go to the repo places, all those cars there's brand new cars now being repoed all over the country. Brand new ones. A year old, 6 months old. And that's because people just simply can't afford these prices. Home prices are out of whack. Car prices are out of whack. And now you're starting to see the repercussions of that. You're starting to see more and more cars available. You're starting to see more and more lots that have new cars on them that they can't sell. They can't sell. They want to bring on 2025 inventory. They haven't sold 2024 or 2023. If you go by some of these dealerships, like Jeep Wrangler, oh my God. You go by some of these dealerships, there's 50 of these Jeep Wranglers. Who's buying Jeep Wranglers? Who's that dumb? Who's buying these things? And why would you do that? I'm just asking. But yeah, you're starting to see the auto market completely collapse. And over the next 6 months, you're going to see prices drop big time because there's just going to be an absolute glut of cars. Repossessions are skyrocketing. And it's not looking good for a lot of people that are trying to make $1,000 car payments. How does that make sense to anybody? I'm going to have a $1,000 car payment and I'm going to pay the insurance on it. You do realize it would be a lot less expensive just to Uber every month, right? You can literally have someone privately drive you wherever you want to go for a lot less than paying the insurance and a $1,000 a month bill. Ay, ay, ay. Let me know what you think in the comments, and if you're having repossessions in your area, let me hear about them. But don't go anywhere. I have a final thought. Welcome back, and guess what? This is my boy. This is my son. This is Drayton. Drayton and Drayton. Say hi, son.
Hi.
Yeah. So why don't you tell everybody, how much school do you have left?
3 weeks.
3 weeks. What happens in 3 weeks, you'll be finished with 3rd grade, correct? And then what?
And then would be a 4th grader.
A 4th grader. Wow.
But I still have days off. The 3rd grade.
Oh, so you still have weekends off. Yeah, okay. But total school days left, you only have like 17 or something like that, right? And then you're ready for summer. Why don't you tell everybody what you're going to do this summer?
I want to get Robux.
Want to get Robux?
Yeah.
Okay. So you want to make sure you play Roblox? Is that the name of the game? Roblox?
Yeah, I want Robux.
Oh, I see. You want Robux. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that you can play Roblox.
Yeah.
Right? All right. What else are you going to be doing this summer?
I'm going to be playing Fortnite. I'm going to be playing Roblox. I'm going to be playing Marvel Rivals on my PS5. And I'm also going to be going swimming. And I'm also going to be playing outside.
Playing outside and a lot of swimming. Can we agree on a lot of swimming? All right.
Unless if you go swimming.
I'll go swimming with you. I promise.
You promise.
I promise. All right. You got it.
Promise to the live. Say it to the live that
I'm,
you
I'm
promise.
saying to the live, I will go swimming with my boy. There we go.
Okay.
You happy? All right. Say goodbye to everybody.
Goodbye.
That's it for the Dray Way. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Don't forget, there's a new Dray Way each and every day. Right, son?
Mhm.
All right. Hopefully you join us. I'll see you tomorrow right here on the Dray Way.